Well, I guess we gotta squeeze a history lesson in here somewhere, so I guess now's as good a time as any. I'll try to keep it brief for you, but it is actually interesting and highly educational. I'll try to make it interesting anyway. First of all, do you know where the word logo comes from? I mean, we throw it around all the time. What does the word logo mean and where did it come from? The word logo is actually an abbreviation of the word logotype. Logos is Greek for word, and typos is Greek for imprint. So there you go. It comes from the Greek there. Abbreviation of logotype. That's where the word logo comes from. So you can use that next time you're playing Trivial Pursuit. All right. Now, the history of logos can actually be traced way, way back to prehistory, to pre writing, when we used symbols and imagery and pictures to communicate ideas. In ancient times, of course, we had coinage with the heads of noblemen and noble women. We had emblems and coats of arms and religious symbols and so on. All this stuff, of course, was widely used. And we even talked about this a little bit earlier on when we talked about, of course, the literacy rates being very, very low back in ancient times up until recently. Well, of course, recently the Industrial Revolution came along. This was in the 18th and 19th centuries. So during this Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries, the printing press changed everything. And the advertising industry was born. And of course, logos being a part of advertising and marketing, logos took off with mass produced products and, of course, the consumer industry. So the Industrial Revolution really kind of birthed, if you will, a smattering of industries, including the advertising industry, the graphic design industry, of course, the printing industry, and so on and so on. Now, the first logo to be trademarked was Bass Brewery's Red Triangle. This was back in 1876. Again, a little Trivial Pursuit knowledge there for you. But by the 1950s, a modernist movement began in the United States, which leads right up to where we find ourselves today. And it's widely considered that the modernist movement and the explosion of corporate branding and logo design that it spurred was established by three primary founders. So there's three primary founders of the modern movement, or the modernist movement, really. The first one we've already been introduced to, Mr. Paul Rand. We talked about this guy very briefly in the previous exercise. He's responsible for many corporate logos that you and I see every day, including ABC, UPS, Morningstar, IBM, and others. If you're interested, you can Google his name and learn lots and lots about him. The second founder of the modernist movement is actually a firm called Chermayeff and Geismar. They're actually still around. They even have a Wikipedia page. And they're responsible for creating many logos, again, that you and I see every day, including the NBC logo, National Geographic, Mobil Oil, Chase Bank, and many, many others. And the third and final founder of the modernist movement is the late Saul Bass. Once again, we've seen his work everywhere, from airlines to telephone companies. He created widely recognized logos for AT&T, the United Way, Quaker Oats, Warner Brothers, Kleenex, and many, many more that you and I see all the time. So these three founders, really, we've already been introduced to them through the products that we buy every day, whether we even know it or not. So there you go. There's your brief history of logo design. That's how it all went down, and that's how it's continuing to go down in the 21st century.